Hello! Squid Game is a really good show. I watched the first 2 seasons, and the third one is set to arrive in June this year. But what would happen if instead of making some random poor Korean people play the games, all the Brawl Stars characters were forced to compete in all of the original first season games of Squid Game? Thank you, Adam Matter, for giving me the suggestion.
I'm in the squid event.
But first, I have to talk about the rules. If a player fails a game, he will get eliminated. Players are not allowed to leave the games. Only the last one standing will be allowed to leave. Everyone is allowed to swap their gadgets and star powers after every game. Every brawler has the time trait and is able to charge his super after completing a round. If they manage to make it through a round is not just determined by their abilities, it's also about some lore stuff they have. So, the first game is called Red Light Green Light, and the objective is to make it over the finish line in under 5 minutes, while this giant doll says red light or green light.
Yeah, nobody falling for that, dummy.
If you move while it says red light, you will kindly be asked to leave. I will be very generous with this one and say that everyone who is average speed makes it. But the ones who are slow have 0 chance of getting to the finish line in time. 8-Bit and Frank are way too slow, and Surge is just as slow in his Stage 1 form. Hear me out. I don't think that neither Eve nor Angelo would make it, not because they are too slow, but because they're constantly hovering in their walking animations. You could argue against this by saying that Angelo stands still in his idling animation, but I really don't think he would walk to the finish line, so he's probably gonna get eliminated. Max and Hank won't make it either. Also not because they are too slow, but because Max has ADHD and Hank because the gunshots will give him flashbacks to the horrors.
Horror. The horror.
I don't think that sleeping is the strategy here. Bonnie is technically just as slow as 8-Bit or Frank, but let's just assume she can get out of her cannon form without her super. In this first game, 8 players got eliminated. The rest move on. This means that we're left with 84 players. In the second game, every player has to choose a shape: triangle, square, circle, or umbrella. Then they get a cookie with the shape they chose on it, and a needle which they have to use to cut out the shape. And don't worry, if you break your cookie, the friendly guards will happily give you a new one. And if you don't do it in 10 minutes, you will also get eliminated. For this game you need patience and hands. And I don't think that Bull, El Primo Sam, or Jackie have enough patience to not crack the cookie they chose. Nita would eat her cookie. Those 4 guys are beyond cooked since they have no actual hands. I don't think Maisie and Rosa would make it through this one, since Maisie only has 1 hand, and Rosa wears those spiky boxing gloves that I don't think she can take off, since we've never seen her without them. They could both make it, but I don't think they would have enough time.
Ah, fungus!
And finally, Piper would pick the umbrella, and since she isn't the main character, she would probably crack the cookie. Only 12 players got eliminated in this game, which means the remaining 72 will move on. I don't know what this next game is called, but I think it was Lights Out. It's not an actual game, it's more like murder. The rules are simple. Everyone is now allowed to attack and potentially eliminate other players. I will try to make this one as simple as possible. Everyone who still has at least 1 member still alive in their trio survives this game, since without a group you won't have a big chance of surviving. This may seem a little unfair for everyone who doesn't have a complete trio yet, but it makes sense since being alone in this scenario would be pretty bad to say the least. This means that the following players will get eliminated: Willow, Meg, Clancy, Charlie, Ollie, Juju, Finks, and Kit. This game is just a simple round of tug-of-war, but it's played on 2 elevated platforms, and the weaker team will inevitably fall to their deaths. In the show, they play for rounds with 8 teams, and every team has to win once to pass. But to not make this too complicated, I will just turn this into 1 round with 2 teams that both have 42 players since 64 players are left. In the show, the players were allowed to choose their teams by themselves, and you would assume that they would want to play with the players that are still left in their trios. This is why I will randomly make the teams without splitting the players that are in the same trio. Here is the evidence that this isn't rigged. Those are the teams. The brawlers that would have the biggest impact on their team are the ones who are strong, the ones who have abilities that they can use to pull, and the ones who can spawn things that help them pull. I think that Team 2 would win just because half of Team 1 is either a child rat or a guy in a wheelchair. And with that, half of all the remaining players got eliminated. The following brawlers are still left: Shelly, Colt, Spike, Cordelius, Lily, Doug, Buzz, RT, Larry, Melody, J, Brock, Rico, Bell, Pearl, Squeakruffs, Edgar, Colette, Griffdale, Mr. P, Lou, Fang, Buster, Crow, BB, Amber, and Poco. I am telling you this because in this next game, every player will have to split up in groups of 2. After that, they have to play a round of marbles, and the loser gets eliminated. The twist is that the players don't know that they have to play against each other, and just pick their best friends or players that they started to trust. I think that the teams would end up looking somewhat like this. Everyone who only has one trio member still alive will obviously want to play with them. That is Cordelius and Lily, Buzz and Doug, RT and Larry, Rico and Brock, Ruffs and Squeak, Melody and Jay, Bell and Pearl, Poco and Amber, BB and Crow, Fang and Buster. Colt and Shelly would be a team because Shelly saved Colt's life in the no time to explain animation. I don't have a good explanation for this, but I feel like Gale would rather play with Mr. P than Lou. Same thing with Lola and Gray. And for the gift shop trio, I think that Edgar and Colette would both want to be in the same team, even though Griff is their boss. This leaves us with 4 remaining players who don't have a team yet. And I think that Miko would probably pick Griff as his teammate, and Lou would have to play against Spike. There are 3 ways how this game can go besides just playing normally. One player manipulates the other one to give you all his marbles. Both players don't want to play, and just both get eliminated, or one player just lets the other one win. Since most of the players chose their best friend, I think that most players wouldn't want to play, or one of them would just give up. The players that let the other player win are Rico, Ruffs, Pearl, Poco, Gale, and Edgar. And the teams that would completely give up are RT, Larry, Fang and Buster, Shelly, and Colt. This leaves 7 teams who would play the game normally. Melody would easily win against Jay Young.
Orchid! Woo!
Doug seems like he could easily beat Buzz. Cordelius would beat Lily.
I'm sorry.
Spike would win somehow. Miko would lose because of his overconfidence.
I am way too talented for this schmuckerini.
I also think that Gray would win against Lola since he is an absolute Chad. I will just spin a wheel for those 2 since I think that they are pretty even, and there is a lot of luck involved in this game. BB wins. I know, very exciting game. So in this next game, which is called the Glass Bridge Gambling Game, the players have to make it across those glass platforms, but the thing is that one of them will always break after jumping on it. This means that every step is a 50/50th chance of life or death. The players have to choose a number, and the player who chose one has to start. They only have 16 minutes, and players can just choose to not jump and kill everyone. I don't think anyone is willing to sacrifice himself for this game. And since I don't want this game to be completely random, I will put them into the opposite order of when they got released. And just like in the show, only the last 3 make it. This is the final game. It's literally just a fight to the death. 3 players are left and everything is allowed.
Guys, we don't have to fight. I'm sure we can solve this without any violence.
오늘 멜로디가 멜며들 준비됐어? 가보자고!
Light work.
선 넘네. 너 누구니? 만관부. 신인이니? 내가
You can't just say
Dude,
that.
And just like that, Cordelius won the Squid Games. Here is your price, $10, 20 power points, and this pillow.